Salutations, Utopians Global here. Um, just finished watching the Memphis Grizzlies get eliminated by the Golden State Warriors, and I mean I didn't have any doubts. I don't think a franchise like Golden State acquires a Jimmy Butler and gets sent home. I mean this is a guy in Jimmy. Jimmy has developed a reputation as playoff Jimmy, and though it was playoff Jimmy, I mean, though it's not technically the playoffs, it's the play in. It's practically win or go home, and so he brought his best out today. There was Ja had north of 40, Jimmy had high 30s, Steph went crazy, but this video is to talk about Memphis, and I'm watching the situation, and I'm like, okay, understandable. You have an interim head coach. He's a EuroLeague champion. Um, but I'm at a loss of words right now, and it has more to do than to just the inbound play they can't get it in. I'm watching it and I'm like, why is Vincent Williams getting roster? Why is he getting minutes in the playoffs? There was a point in the game in the first half where Zach Edey's getting exploited on the pick and roll, and I know he proved to be gradually more important as the game progressed, and he's a rookie, and there is something to be said about you know uh, there is something to be said about sticking with your rook and giving him quality minutes, and he definitely delivered. He had almost 20 rebounds today, and I am sure he had his double digits in points, but there was times in the second quarter where he was getting so exploited. I just don't know why they didn't get to a smaller lineup. Put JJ at the five, Saldama at the four. Really go into your bench. Um, and Saldama is a riser, man. He gets in that. You know, he raises to the moment. He rises to the occasion, man. And I'm watching the situation unfold. He throws it, and let me tell you, it was funny because the Scottie Pippen Jr. is out there, and obviously Scottie Pippen's son, and Saldama. I've been telling people for the last year now. He reminds me of Tony Kukoc. It was crazy because I'm seeing. He says Pippen Jr. and immediately I look at Saldama and he makes a pass like he was Kukoc. They used to call him the waiter, but funny thing. But I'm watching just some of the, and I mean I'm just nitpicking. But the real glaring issue I had is after Buddy Hill did his little impersonation of Zaza Pachulia, I couldn't understand why do you have Ja guarding the much larger 6'8" Moody. I called him Emmanuel Moutier, but you got him guarding Moody, and Moody's 6'8", 220, anxious, and most importantly ready to deliver. As you all know, he had to pay his dues and wait his turn. Now he's coming off that $40 million extension, and more importantly, he wants to get minutes. This is a guy who they sometimes line up at the four, and the root of my frustrations is not stemming from the play that Ja wasn't able to box him out, and he got a key putback layup. But Moody is a freakish athletic player. What would inspire you to think down the stretch, let me put Ja with a bum ankle on Moody instead of putting him on GP2, who has no jump shot and is not even nowhere close to the first option, but you got Ja over here north of 40 in points, and then you expect him to go out and box out Moody and guard him more physical and more, because Ja is very undersized. He's like 180 soaking wet. Okay, no disrespect, but that's why he gets up so miraculous the way he does and so quickly, and he's so bouncy out there, right? But I just couldn't understand like what the heck is going on with the decision making, and then then to cap it all off, to have him not be able to get the inbound in, like where's the set play? Calvin Sampson, that's the difference between a Calvin Sampson, and it might be his first time and all this other stuff as a coach. It's a play in, high stakes, but he looked extremely overwhelmed. Maybe he'll get more comfortable in the role, but I didn't quite understand what was going on there. I get it. That's the with the Edie, it's kind of like that's the plus and the negative to having a guy like Edie there. Big frame. Warriors are undersized. he gets on the glass, even though Kevon Looney is top five in offensive rebounds. At one point was leading the league in offensive rebounds. So definitely that was a key piece to offset. But I feel like those second quarters, second half of the second quarters, that's where you kind of experiment and try to sneak, the margin and the runs, going into half. And I kind of felt a little underwhelmed by the lack of substitutions, because at that point I'm like, all right, go small, move JJ to the five. He's supposed to be the decoy, and mind you, I wasn't very impressed with Jared Jackson Jr. I don't see a max extension in the future. I'm telling you, and you know what? Just to add a little more substance to this discussion, uh, you know, this is another situation where, and I don't think he's going to command it either. I don't think he's trying to. His agent is going to try to pull it off, pull off a heist on the Grizzlies. But if you are truly worth 300 M's, I don't think these franchises have a problem. Like Tatum is a legitimate 300 mil player. Jaylen Brown is a legitimate 300 mil player, I think. Um, and the Finals MVP solidified that. Plus, he's got the resume, All Stars. I think he's an All Star, and then he's got Finals MVP. So the resume is there to say, hey, give me that. And the age bracket is good, plenty years ahead, good health history, etc. But one thing I'm having a problem with respect to, you know, you know, some people are having issues with, oh, because it got raised again. Whether today Nico Harris confirms, we don't know if Luka would sign the supermax. If you should pay Luka the supermax, because you don't even, well, he's worth it. Right now, he's the first player to lead the NBA, first international player to lead the NBA in jersey sales, and he's definitely, so he in the market, kind of, obviously it helps when you're in LA, Tinseltown, and all that, but um, definitely he was highly revered in Dallas. But they were saying, we don't know if he's getting, and I'm telling people, I don't know if he was going to sign. I felt like he was going to try to find a way to get to Jokic, but I have no kind of proof or anything of it. I just think that, like, it was getting toxic, and again, he pulled Luka from a burning fire when he sent him off to LA to buy more time. Whether they win it this year, hey, I don't believe the Lakers can, but if they do, hey, I think they have a good chance to get out of the first round. Just because I don't see them sending home Luka and LeBron in the first round, but that doesn't mean that, you know. Um, but I'm watching this thing and I'm just like, yeah, Jared Jackson did not look like a super max player, and I could understand there was some reports that maybe Taylor Jenkins giving him the minutes so he could buffer his stats and get decoy and make certain first and second teams and all this other stuff was gonna end up being the a detriment to ownership and scale it back. But um, I didn't see a super max player out of Jaren Jackson this evening. These are the kind of games that you got to win if you want to be a super max, and I don't think we got that from him this evening. And so I could understand why they're like, get Jenkins out, get this guy out, but I don't think that cutting him loose at that point in the season, just so you can, lose in the play in the first round to the Warriors. At this point, it looks like they did him a favor. You know what I mean? If anything, they did Jenkins a favor, relieving him of his duties, because, but instead of the other way around, I mean, he's still gonna get paid, but that was a winnable game, and it comes down to a few possessions. Ja on above ankle, he did make some costly turnovers down the stretch, some questionable decisions trying to defer to Edie, and sometimes he tries to get to foul baiting, and the refs, you can't put it in their hands. But he's also, like I said, he's fairly skinny in frame, so it obviously could have been, you know, uh, it's not hard to throw him off his square. With that being said, so I mean, either way, the season was a disaster for the Grizzlies at this point. There was the depth and the personnel was there. For whatever reason, it just didn't come together. It never felt like it was going to be their year for some reason, despite what it looked like on paper. But Desmond Bane has certainly moved himself into the discussion as a top four shooting guard in the league. It's between him and Zach LaVine for that last spot on that top four, because obviously, Ant and Donovan Mitchell are where they're supposed to be, but and I'm forgetting a third guy, but it's, that third and fourth spot is up for grabs between Zach LaVine. I guess it's the third top three shooting guards. Excuse me, between LaVine and Bane, because Bane is definitely that guy. So he definitely went out gunning, and he had like 3 or 4 shots that rimmed out, but that could have easily been 3 pointers that went in. Obviously, the favor was in Curry's hands, but um, when you look now in hindsight, it's like, okay, will they still continue with this theory in this this theory, this, with this international coach? Disappointing loss for the Grizzlies, man. That's not how you want your season to end, and it's been an epic disaster, with the whole celebration thing and everything. Just another season that's been cut short from what should have been a glorious year to enjoy, a generational talent and job. It's sad. Sad ending. All right, Utopians, I'll try to do better next time. Global. Out.